Right now at 10, changes could be coming to Willie Street, the solution the city of Madison is exploring after multiple crashes in recent years.
And Micah Parsons took to the practice field today, how the Packers may use their new asset against the Lions this weekend.
Plus, a Wisconsin couple facing charges for a poisoning plot. We'll detail a Madison woman's story as she speaks out to honor her family. And that's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. Williamson Street is known in Madison for its community events and locally owned businesses.
But recently, it's had a number of traffic incidents and car crashes. Maddie Heimsch explains how your commute down Willie Street could change as the city explores solutions.
You probably don't need any signage to tell you that the building behind me is, well, a building. But the owners of Mother Fool's Coffee House aren't taking any chances.
We had even installed that building sign as a safety measure to let people know there was a building here.
Mother Fool's co-owner Stephanie Rierick says at least 3 cars have crashed into their storefront on the corner of South Ingersoll and Williamson Streets.
Apparently, it's very attractive to automobiles. Each time it's a whole unplanned remodel.
And while that may seem like bad luck, Rierick says luck has little to do with it.
It's clearly not designed for the level of traffic and the type of traffic it's been getting.
And the city's traffic commission agrees. A new pilot program will reassess how cars travel down Willie Street with a lane removal test. Currently, there are 2 inbound lanes from the Yahara River to John Nolan Drive during the morning rush hour and 2 outbound lanes for that same stretch in the afternoon.
So during this test period, we'll be changing out those signs to allow parking all day on those sections.
The city's Assistant Director of Traffic Engineering, Tom Moore, says most of the crashes into Willie Street businesses actually don't happen during those peak hours.
This test is less about the specific issue of crashes into buildings and more about the overall feeling of safety along Williamson Street.
But the test could still result in a safer street overall.
We're going to look at how traffic diverts, if any, during this test, and how that affects queues and congestion and delays on other streets as well.
In hopes that Mother Fool's can stay standing in the neighborhood Rierick says is where it belongs.
And it's completely intertwined with the neighborhood that this is.
Signage for the new lanes will start going up tomorrow. The new traffic patterns will be official by Tuesday. Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Maddie, thank you. Now, as the test gets underway, the city will ask for feedback from drivers before making any permanent changes.
Cooler temperatures moving into the region overnight.
That's right. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is here on how cold we will get.
A pretty chilly night tonight. Definitely one that you're going to want to maybe have that extra layer on as we wake up into Thursday morning for school and for work. 42 in Madison. That's the projected low temperature. 39 in Baraboo. So some areas in those low-lying areas like the Wisconsin River Valley, we've got at 42, but wouldn't be shocked to see some of those temperatures getting down into the upper 30s in those low-lying areas. So a very chilly, unseasonably cool night in store for southern Wisconsin. And all we're going to do is the low to mid 60s as we go into Thursday. Take note, average high 77 degrees, and we're in the low to mid 60s. These 60-degree temperatures are going to be closer, though, to our low temperatures in our future. More on a big warm-up on the way, and also more on this rain chance Thursday night. In a little bit when I come back, we will track those showers, how much rain you can expect, and the latest on a big warm-up. This cool weather isn't going to last forever.
All right, Alex, thank you. Madison police are looking for a driver involved in a hit-and-run incident involving a motorcyclist. That crash happened Sunday afternoon on the westbound Beltline near Gammon Road. According to investigators, the motorcycle hit the back of a vehicle on the Beltline, throwing the motorcyclist off. The driver of the vehicle briefly stepped out of their car before fleeing the scene before police could arrive. The motorcyclist said to be in stable condition. And in Richland County, a motorcyclist in critical condition after being found unresponsive in a ditch. Saturday, deputies responded to calls of a disabled motorist near US 14 at Eden Valley Lane. There, they found a 41-year-old man lying in a ditch. Life-saving measures were taken before MedFlight took him to a Madison hospital. An investigation is ongoing. The Milwaukee County judge accused of helping a man evade arrest by U.S. immigration agents will stand trial in December. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested in April and indicted on federal charges in May. Judge Dugan argued the charges should be dismissed, saying that she was acting in her official capacity as a judge. Last week, a federal judge rejected that argument. Judge Dugan's trial will begin December 15th.
2 Wisconsin facilities that help homeless veterans could close at the end of the month if state lawmakers don't find a funding solution. The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs says programs in Green Bay and in Chippewa Falls will shut down September 30th after federal COVID relief funds that kept them operating run out of money. Combined, the sites provide 41 beds along with meals, housing, support, and counseling. Lawmakers are now debating whether to extend state funding.
Now imagine you are a Republican in the state legislature, in the majority and in control, and you could keep those facilities open. But you choose not to. It's unthinkable and it's unimaginable. But sadly, that is the reality we find ourselves today.
So Republicans on the Joint Finance Committee say other funding sources should cover that program. However, Democrats argue the money is gone. Veterans groups, including the Wisconsin VFW, are calling on lawmakers to act before that September 30th deadline.
A congressional gold medal ceremony for the Harlem Hellfighters took place in Washington, D.C. today. The legendary group was an African-American regiment who fought during World War I. They spent 191 days on the front line in the trenches, suffering more casualties than any other American regiment. About 1,500 were killed, wounded, or missing in action. The Hellfighters Gold Medal was signed into law by President Biden back in 2021. The newly minted medal was unveiled at the ceremony. Micah Parsons was traded to the Packers less than a week ago. In practice today, he was on the field in pads.
But will he play this Sunday for the Packers' regular season opener? And how will the green and gold use him? News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has more from Lambeau Field.
Now, you have to understand something about NFL coaches and the first game of the season. They love to be able to say, we don't know, we'll see, you'll have to wait till Sunday. And Matt LaFleur is no different. He has unscouted looks that he's excited to unleash on the Detroit Lions on Sunday here at Lambeau Field and here on Channel 3. And he's got the ultimate wild card in his mix now with the addition of Micah Parsons. How are they going to use him? How much is he going to play? How's his back feeling? Well, Matt LaFleur's not going to give you any answers when it comes to that. Take a listen.
Do you feel good enough about where Mike is at with his back that you expect him to play on Sunday?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're still he's doing everything in his power. He's rehabbing hard. You know, we've got to get through a couple practices to see how he responds, to see how he does. But certainly hopeful.
So here's what we do know. Micah Parsons was listed as a limited participant in practice on Wednesday. He was in pads along with his teammates. So that is a good sign that he is trending toward playing in the game. The reports of his back issues might be a little bit exaggerated, but it is certainly an issue. So how much will he play? I'm not sure the Packers even know for certain, but I know that they're hoping to spring some surprises on the Detroit Lions with how they use him, and they'll have to figure out as they go just how heavy of a workload he can handle. One historical note. In 2018, the Chicago Bears acquired Khalil Mack from the Oakland Raiders, and their first game was right here at Lambeau Field against the Packers. Mack ended up playing 46 defensive snaps that night against Aaron Rodgers and company. He had a sack, he forced a fumble, he intercepted a pass that he returned for a touchdown. So if Micah Parsons can match that and the Packers win, because that's what they did against the Bears that night, it'll be quite a night for Micah Parsons. Jason Wilde in Green Bay from Lambeau Field, channel3000.com.
I think we'd all take a game like that. Thank you, Jason. Don't forget, you can watch that game Sunday right here on News 3 Now, starting the season in Green Bay against the Lions. Kickoff for that one set for 3:25.
Well, tonight, the fourth largest Powerball jackpot drawing took place. The winning ticket is worth $1.4 billion. Tonight's lucky numbers were 3, 16. Are you looking at your?
I am.
Okay.
Just keep reading.
3, 16, 29, 61, 69, and the Powerball is 22. So this jackpot can opt for whoever wins can opt for payments over nearly 3 decades. Or the cash option for this would be $634 million. It's $351 million for a single filer in Wisconsin after taxes. That got smaller.
I do not have to worry about that. I'm done. I didn't win.
We'll see you tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow. Ahead at 10, Alex tells us when the Madison region will warm back up.
And as 2 suspects face charges for a poison plot in Dane and Rock counties, we share the story of a Madison woman speaking out after an eerily similar case changed her life more than 40 years ago.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
2 Wisconsin residents are charged with using cyanide, the poison, attempting to kill 2 women. It's a story News 3 Now continues to follow. The victims and their families are recovering.
And that story is eerily similar to one that rocked the country nearly a half-century ago. Tonight, a Madison woman shares how her family continues to heal from the historic event.
I was his little girl, so I went everywhere with him, right? So on that particular day, I happened to be with him when he took me to the store.
Kasha Janice was 4 years old when her dad took her to the local grocery store in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
In fact, it ended up being my last time with him.
She remembers playing around in the pharmaceutical aisle.
I didn't realize that where we were, the Tylenol, all the over-the-counter medications were right there.
Her dad picked up some extra-strength Tylenol, put it in his basket, and they headed home.
I was in my room with my brother when I heard my mom scream.
Kasha found her dad on the floor, unresponsive.
I said, "Tata, wake up. It's me. I know you're playing a game. Just wake up." But he didn't.
They'd been told her dad had a heart attack, but it made no sense.
My dad was a very healthy man. There was no signs of him being sick whatsoever.
She has a clear memory of being in her favorite spot in the living room when her aunt and uncle arrived.
My uncle, he just lost his best friend, and so he was shocked. And so he was like my second dad. Like, I was very close to him as well.
Grief-stricken, the couple headed to the kitchen and, thinking nothing of it, took some Tylenol.
I think it was just all the shock and the grief that he had to endure.
Soon after, her aunt and uncle both collapsed.
Next thing you know, I wake up and I'm in the hospital.
Doctors were afraid it was something contagious and had the family quarantined.
I remember being super scared because I had no idea why I was behind bars.
Finally, they put the pieces together.
It must be the Tylenol.
Lab tests confirmed the news that shocked the Janice family and sent the world into panic.
The capsules were tainted with cyanide.
4-year-old Kasha didn't know her family was part of a historic tragedy. 4 other people in the Chicagoland area had also died. Today, Kasha is vocal about her story because she doesn't want the 7 victims or survivors to be forgotten.
We don't really hear about how these survivors, when they've lost their loved ones, how did they survive after that? Nobody tells that story anymore.
Kasha's mom, Teresa, an immigrant from Poland, had to learn English and learn to drive in order to work.
She's the strongest woman I've ever met, and I always remind her that. And I don't think she realizes how strong she really is through all of it. Reflecting on how my mom was able to survive through all this, that it really took a community, it really took a village to help us be where we are today.
Kasha struggled living without her dad.
There was so much of me that I just wish my dad was there with me in moments that I really needed him.
It took years of therapy to realize she had guilt.
You know, if I hadn't gone down that aisle, maybe my dad would have still been alive, and my aunt, my uncle, and I always blamed myself.
But it turns out the Tylenol was on her dad's list. It wasn't her fault, but the grief stuck around.
For anyone who has gone through loss or trauma, I think they're always healing in some way. You know, it's never going to go away. There's always going to be highs and lows.
An open investigation more than 40 years later.
I do hear from the detectives once in a while. Something comes up.
But to Kasha, her family's legacy matters more.
And for me, what's important is getting to know more about the stories about my dad and my aunt and uncle at this point in my life. It's really important for me to find out more of who they are.
When Kasha caught wind of the story here in Wisconsin where women were poisoned with cyanide.
2 people are in custody after a hazmat incident in Madison near campus. The latest details in an ongoing Department of Justice investigation. It's all ahead on News 3 Now.
Anytime I hear the word cyanide, it takes me back and it just makes me go, we're supposed to use these stories as a lesson. It was just horrific to hear that there were people out there that would do that.
But this local news story is just a small blip on the radar in her journey. Kasha celebrates a happy ending despite the pain. And when asked what she thinks her dad would say if he were here today,
He knows that I have the heart to be able to keep shining my light, to tell my story in a positive way. My mom would always say, "You're just like your dad," which is a good thing. And I'm really happy that I do have my dad's qualities, because this is what my dad would have done. He is someone who would want to help others as well. He would tell me to keep going, keep shining your light.
And thank you to Kasha for that story. Earlier this year, by the way, Netflix happened to release a special called The Tylenol Murders. Kasha declined to be interviewed for that, but says the docuseries was well done. She's happy that producers spoke with victims' families, some of whom have lingering questions about what exactly happened and who is responsible.
Well, there's a chill in the air. Our temperatures taking a drop overnight. Alex will tell us when we might see a warm-up.
We've got a ways to go. We got a mountain to climb after we have some of the coldest temperatures that we've had since the spring months. Temperatures on Friday of 60. That's going to be the coolest high that we have, and then we're going to slowly, degree by degree, work our way back up to the upper 70s by the time we get to this time next week. And that's normal temperatures for this time of year. Nothing like normal over the course of the next couple of days. That's all part of the three things you got to get out of the forecast tonight. Lower 40s for low temperatures. Tracking more showers as we go into Thursday night into Friday, and that cool stuff is going to last, as you just saw there, into the weekend. Overnight temperatures, what you wake up to tomorrow morning for school and for work, you're going to need that extra jacket on. 42 in Madison, 42 in Janesville, 44 in Platteville, and the cool spot 39 in Baraboo. But any of those low-lying areas, if you're some of those areas that have a tendency to be a little bit cooler than the other surrounding areas, tonight's going to probably be one of those nights that you could dip into the upper 30s in some areas. And all we're going to do is low to mid 60s for highs on Thursday, with that average high 77 degrees, so nowhere close to normal right now. But that will eventually change, and what will change too, we have dry stuff right now, wet stuff by the time we get to this time Thursday night. Rain will be moving into parts of the area. Let's track it. 8 o'clock to the north and west of the Dells, although some of our latest weather models are really cutting off the southern tail end of this weather system, and that would include a good portion of southern Wisconsin. So scattered showers will be the mode as we get to about this time tomorrow night, with the best chances for the more steadier rains up towards central and northern Wisconsin. And by the time we get to 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe a fleeting shower or two still to the north of the Dells, but the rain shower chances will dwindle. We'll have periods of clouds on Friday, breezy conditions and cool temperatures. Most appreciable rain here, 1/10 of an inch if we're lucky in Madison. Areas towards the Wisconsin-Illinois border, nothing. And then maybe upwards of 1/4 of an inch north of the Dells up towards central Wisconsin, where again, we're going to have heavier or the steadier rains. We got a steady wind though in the forecast. Our future track wind gusts coming in strong out of the west and northwest as we go into that Friday morning school and work time, upwards of 30 miles per hour. So hold on to your hats, kiddos. It's going to be a breezy day on Friday and chilly as well. Again, 60 degrees Friday, mid 60s for the upcoming weekend. Got Badger game. We've got the Packers game. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s, so pleasantly cool over the weekend. Then we slowly march our way with our temperatures getting back up into the middle 70s, up to near 80 degrees. Even that low temperature next Friday night, just bump that up to 60 degrees, so maybe even just a touch of humidity in the air. Now, Eric, I know you like your summer
what are you
stuff.
doing here?
Fall starts in 19 days, but here's the good stuff, though. After our Packers forecast, that's all good stuff there. Look at this right here, going on into the middle of September, so this will be approaching that very first day of fall. Very likely going to have warmer than normal temperatures.
If I won the Powerball, I'd buy you a new weather computer that would just do things the way I want.
Do the way we want it, yes.
And it was always going to come back, the heat. So
we know
we'll be back.
Yes.
We got a little more coming.
Thanks,
Alex, thank you.
Of course.
Coming up, a Sports Badger volleyball team looking to learn from that loss to Texas over the weekend. Why the head coach says the team needs to look to the basketball court for some inspiration.
Kelly Sheffield schedules intentionally. He invited some of the best teams in the country to come to Madison
to see what his Badgers are made of to open the season. Their season opener against Kansas confirmed his suspicions that while he may have a team filled with new faces, Wisconsin volleyball's championship pedigree isn't going anywhere. But sometimes you learn more about yourself in a loss than you do in a win. On Sunday, the Badgers were swept by Texas at the Kohl Center, a gut punch the head coach says his team needed, looking not to the volleyball court for inspiration, but to the basketball court.
It's what you sign up for, not the losses, but you sign up to, when you're choosing to come to a school like this, come and playing for a conference like this, you better learn to be resilient. There's an interview that we showed of Kobe Bryant years ago when they asked him, what does losing feel like? And I think everybody was surprised when they heard him say it's exciting. They're like, what in the world is Kobe Bryant talking about losing and exciting? What he meant was the process of getting back to work is exciting because you're digging in, you're trying to figure out what went wrong, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I see that, and yeah, that happens, and you got to pick yourself back up, and you get back to work. That process has to be exciting.
The Badgers get back at it on Thursday, hosting UC Davis in their first match of the season here at the Fieldhouse. Before they host Chicago State right here on Friday, giving them a couple days to chew on some film and find new ways to improve. Until then, at the Fieldhouse, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
Tonight. Today, the Department of Labor tweeted this view from inside the building.
All new CBS Tonight.
And finally tonight, a Florida boy went on an adventure of his lifetime to fulfill his appetite. A 5-year-old, William. He made his way to the local Chick-fil-A while his parents were still asleep. Jacksonville police arrived to find him happily eating breakfast with the manager, keeping him company.
He even used the QR code on his phone to get a discount, too. It was crazy. A little detective work. Officers found his house, hopped the fence to return him to his rather shocked parents. They said William had let himself out the front door, something he had never tried before. A few weeks later, the happy ending, the family met the officers at Chick-fil-A to thank them with some cookies and hopefully a few chicken sandwiches as well.
The things that parents don't think about.
Yeah, lock those doors. put the little deadbolt high on the door. Alex is back. Final check of the forecast and the cool weather rolling on in.
Yeah, cold stuff for tonight. You're going to wake up to lows right around 40 degrees, so definitely a chill in the air. It's going to feel like fall tomorrow, but it's not going to last forever. Temperatures will be in the 60s for high temperatures on Thursday, and then take a look at the 10-day here. We'll be back up to near 80 degrees in about 10 days.
All right, and thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert's next.
Our next show is at 4:30 tomorrow morning, and you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.